You're listening to Counterclockwise, where we decide the best of unimportant categories. How are you there today?
You know how they always say there's infinite universes, infinite possibilities, and the big thing is like somewhere out there you're Batman.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of been thinking, what if I am Batman in an alternate universe, but like I'm a bad Batman?
Like bad as in not
well, you know how
virtuous or not good at the job.
Yes.
Both.
You know how I am. You know how clunky I am. Right?
That's a good word for it.
So I'm kind of like, okay, like Batman, Superman, whatever. Well, just my example be Superman. Let's just say I'm Clark Kent out there in some alternate universe, right?
Uh-huh.
First of all, I would 100% forget my glasses every single time going to work.
Yeah.
So my identity's revealed immediately.
Yeah.
Secondly, when he does the shirt rip thing to expose the S, the Superman S, I feel like I'm going to forget to wear the suit or the shirt underneath it and then just reveal
just bare chest?
Yeah.
Or,
like the patches of hair I have. Like I don't have a fully hairy chest. It's just like patches like everywhere on my body.
The 9 individual chairs poking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chairs. Whatever that is. You just got 9 chairs on your chest.
Well, alternate universe. I do have a chest full of chairs.
Chair chest. Couple of ottomans in there.
Yeah.
Just to spice it up.
At least one has a leg rest.
You got the lazy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where my brain's been lately.
Lately? This is okay.
Fair. A lot.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good thing. Good thing to think about. Whether you'd be good at being Batman / Superman in an alternate. But I mean, like, if it's an alternate universe, isn't there a version of you that's actually good at that?
Well, sure, but like, I'm more so fixated on the bad. You know how I am.
Yeah.
I have one little minor inconvenience and it ruins my whole month.
Yeah.
That's just rent free right now. It's been like a few weeks that I've been thinking about this. Yeah, I know. It's weird. I know.
Weeks.
Yeah. And I'm just putting scenarios together. I'm like, well, if somebody needs me to save their cat. It's like, I probably accidentally knock down the tree and then kill the cat probably.
Then you break a leg and you can't save anybody if your leg's broken as Batman.
Yeah. Like kryptonite's my thing that kills me. Yeah. But then I accidentally have it in like a salt shaker or something and put it in my food. I don't know. And then
they start using it as deodorant or something.
Yeah, I'm constantly in the ER getting my stomach pumped because of I'm ingesting kryptonite.
Have you come into contact with any kryptonite lately?
Yeah.
Well, now that you mention it.
Yeah. I was trying this new shea butter lotion and it was infused with kryptonite.
It was pretty green. It was glowing a little bit. I didn't really think about it, but now that you say that, I don't know. It's probably it. Alrighty, so across the table from me is the Bob Barker to my Rod Roddy, Brandon Wise. I'm Tyler Wise, and up next, deal or no deal. Retired game shows coming up in about 23 seconds.
Navigation. 3. Silence number 2. He was number 1.
You're talking about minor inconveniences that just eat away at you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you clocked the time that I told you I was on my way.
You took a while.
Yeah. I got stuck behind a caravan of cars. The lead car, I think, was going
40?
Maxed about, I think they topped out at about 50. And they were bouncing. I mean, when it's that long line of a car, or whatever.
It might as well
words,
be one
the
long car.
sentence. Yeah, just one long, just a giant, like 2-mile limousine. Yeah.
A Cadillac from the 60s or something.
Yeah, that's just a family sedan. Like it's one of the cars they'd give away on these game shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, lead car's probably bouncing between 40 and 50 the whole way. I was about maybe 2 miles outside of town before it kind of like broke up and I could actually get up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's terrible. And it was pretty much right as I got out of town, too. Then the whole way here.
It's funny you say that because yesterday I was in your hometown shooting pool. And on the way back, taking the same route you take, quite literally as soon as I got out of town and it hits 55,
it's 55 yeah.
I fly up on this car. I'm not even at full speed yet. Caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Flying off.
Yeah, some of them are that bad.
Yeah, and I think he maxed out at 40.
Jesus.
And this was before it snowed yesterday. Like it was just before it started snowing.
Yeah.
All the roads were cleared off, but it was like wet. But like there wasn't black ice. Like I tested it. I know it sounds really bad, but I like slammed the brakes to make sure I didn't slide, so I could pass. And I'm like, look, I understand driving safe.
Yeah.
That's just 40.
Yeah, that's
40.
And yeah, I don't know. And they act like that's going to make that much of a difference. The guy I was following going like 50, it's like the difference between 50 and 55 is not big enough.
Right.
Like, just go the speed limit.
And
slowing down 5 miles per hour is not going to save your life. It's not going to keep you from flying off the road. You're still going 50 miles an hour.
And the roads were better today than they were yesterday.
Yeah, they were basically dry. Like, there were a couple of, like, maybe some damp spots. It's a busy road. There's not going to be giant patches of ice everywhere.
I think
there's constantly people driving over it, melting the ice down.
I think we can all share our annoyance with those kind of drivers.
God, it's the worst. Just go take the back roads or something. I don't know. Take a country road.
Like, here's my thing. It's like, I know you want to get home safe, and so do I. Mm-hmm. But I also want to get home.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the road for an hour.
I want
on a trip that normally takes 40 minutes.
I want to be home. And you're preventing me from being home.
Yeah, exactly. You were able to pass the guy at least. I had 40 cars in front of me. There was a part. Yeah. There was a point when I first noticed it because I wasn't even caught up to him at first. I just shortly after I got out of town, it was dark out still or dark out already, and probably 2 miles down the road, I could see like the hill kind of going up, and I just see this line of taillights.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
The problem with that road is there's 2 spots, I think, the whole way from town to town
where it's clear,
where you can pass.
Flat enough to pass.
Yeah.
And there's like just enough traffic coming the other way that it's hard to kind of gauge it. You can't really chance the low hills.
Yeah.
There's like it's just hilly enough to be impossible to pass. Mm-hmm. It's the worst. And it's just one long straight shot. And there's one light. There's not even like there's no good places.
It doesn't help that that's like
guy.
the most boring drive I've ever taken.
Yeah, that too.
It is so boring. It sucks.
It's terrible. But anyway, we got some business at hand here. And that business is games. Ooh, I just reformatted something on my sheet here. Let's not do that so I know what I'm doing.
See, that's what I would do if I was Clark Kent.
Yeah, clunky.
At my day job, I would accidentally format something and like lose the company a client or something.
Yeah.
Like that's me.
The Daily Planet.
Yeah. I would lose a story or lose a source or something like that.
Yeah. Or like accidentally like pat them on the back too hard and you like knock their lungs out.
I like got my smoking gun to drop a huge story that would like take over Gotham. Or no, that's Batman.
Yeah.
To take over Metropolis. And then I would accidentally bump my computer and lost everything.
That's a good point with Superman. He's so strong. Do you think he'd like fuck up a thumb drive? He just like tries to pull it out and just like smushes it.
He pushes his thumb drive in and it like shoots all the way through the computer.
Yeah. How many laptops do you think he's gone through? Like he just accidentally like hits the period key a little too hard and suddenly he's got a hole in the table?
I kind of feel like he has to hire somebody to type everything for him.
He'd probably have to. Or hire somebody to like reinforce like a typewriter or something. Get an old-fashioned typewriter just make it out of like stainless steel or something.
I'm not as involved with Superman as I am with Marvel.
Yeah.
Does he have his powers even when he's has?
Yeah, even as Clark Kent.
Yeah,
Clark Kent. Yeah. Yes, he does.
Okay.
I think he just always has his powers,
unless
he's got the kryptonite, or he's like on a different planet or something. Because it's the yellow sun that gives him his powers.
Gotcha.
On kryptonite, I think they have a red sun, maybe. I don't remember all the lore exactly. I think they have a different sun.
Maybe like a blood moon.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think it's the yellow sun of Earth, of our solar system, that gives him his superpowers. But anyway, so game shows.
Yeah.
Did I say specifically?
You said retired.
Retired game shows. We talked discontinued. We talked canceled. All of them really apply.
Yeah.
Canceled seems negative. That makes me think of like the game show that was on for 2 weeks and then nobody liked it.
Basically, the best game shows that aren't on in TV.
Yeah,
currently.
basically all we're doing is the game shows, but we're excluding the ones that are currently on the air today. Right. So that gets rid of Price is Right, gets rid of Family Feud, all great. Obviously, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is still technically on.
Is it really?
Yeah, they rebooted it. But I think it's still technically like the same run. It's not like when they reboot like an old game, like when they brought back Match Game for like a year. That was a little different. This is like still. It's like it was. Who's the guy? Jimmy Kimmel brought it back.
Oh, that's
a couple
right.
of years ago. He brought it back.
So it's still on right now.
I don't know if it's like currently on, but I saw they had a new season in 2024. So I consider that still on.
Okay. Well, that was an HM for me, so I'll just...
That was an honorable mention. Wow.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of boring.
Huh. I always liked Millionaire.
Regis was cool. Meredith wasn't bad.
Did you realize the prime time with Regis, that was only on for like 2 years? The rest of the Millionaire that we remember is Meredith Vieira.
I remember Meredith a lot, but...
I remember her too. She obviously did more episodes because that was the daytime version where it was on every day.
Yeah.
The prime time was weekly, I'm pretty sure.
Was that was always after Price is Right, right? I always remember the lineup I always remember the lineup watching it at Grandma's.
It was after the news. So news was right after Price is Right.
Yeah.
Price is Right was 11 to noon. Noon was the news, and I'm pretty sure Millionaire was at 12:30. I think there was a soap opera on after that one, wasn't there? The early afternoon was usually soap opera territory.
Days of our lives.
Like sand through the hourglass. So, honorable mentions. Do you want to just get into there?
I have so many.
You mentioned a couple already.
All right, I'll kind of run through these real quick since we both have a
ton. We both really love.
Oh, I love game shows, man. They're so great.
Yeah.
I even went into the Nickelodeon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a couple from there, too.
First off, we got Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Okay, yeah.
Underrated, I think.
That had a really long run.
It did. I'm not a huge Jeff Foxworthy fan.
Yeah.
But he made that show really. He made that game show really good.
Honestly, if you would have told me Jeff Foxworthy was hosting a game show, like a trivia game show, I'd be like, are you kidding? Like, how many weeks was that on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, he kind of made the show. Kind of gave it that like almost like a heartwarming quality to it.
He was much better than that than the cameo in Scooby-Doo and the Guess Who.
Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. Yeah, I don't know.
You might be a country boy.
I don't know. Is redneck like considered derogatory or something?
It must be where
they couldn't say redneck. Yeah. So his signature catchphrase suddenly changes for Scooby-Doo.
You might be a country boy. All right, moving on. I got to Tell the Truth. You remember that one? That was always like an early AM one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Weakest Link.
Good one.
America Says. kind of a
Okay, that's a newer one.
It's a
isn't it?
new one. It's
with the guy that's in all the movies.
yeah.
The guy that's in like 30% of all movies.
John Michael something? No.
John Michael Higgins.
Yes.
Is it John? John
Yeah.
Michael Higgins.
Yes.
John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael.
Michael. What?
He's a 3-namer for sure. We got that down. John Michael Higgins.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know why I
okay.
was questioning you, but yeah, you were right.
That's one of those games where when you discover it, it's like, oh, this is a pretty cool game, and then you watch it over and over, and then
it gets old really fast.
You get bored with it.
Yeah, when you watch it on Game Show Network later, it's when it's syndicated, it's just like 4 hours of the same show. It's like, oh my god, I can't handle John Michael Higgins again.
And all the teams and the families are so dorky. It's like
yeah, and
so
they always make the same dumb mistakes.
it's so cringy.
Come on, get out.
All right, I got the dating game,
Classic
Concentration
with young hip Alex Trebek.
the goat.
Yeah,
All the variations of Password just in one conglomerate.
okay.
Newlywed Game.
Uh-huh.
That was always funny watching the wives get mad at the husbands because they're stupid, because they're dumb. The husbands were always fucking dumb.
Yeah, or the husband's getting mad because of some stupid reason. Like,
Yeah.
how did you not know this really specific thing that I've never told you before in my life?
But the husband can't get something very like common.
What's my mother's maiden name?
Yeah.
How do you not know that?
Now I have Deal or No Deal as my honorable mention, even though I love that game.
Yeah,
I always thought it was a good game.
You like that one?
I did.
I that's another one that got really old.
It did.
I remember in our family, our little nuclear family, it was a big one for a minute,
Yeah.
for like a couple of years there.
Yeah.
We watched it all the time.
I thought I thought Howie was a little arrogant too sometimes.
Yeah,
in
sometimes,
that, but
yeah.
that's okay. It kind of
He's
made the show
pretty
too. Now going into my Nickelodeon
Okay.
stage here, we've got Double Dare.
Double Dare.
Love that show.
Solid.
So, Slime Time.
Slime Time.
It was.
I don't remember that one as much.
Yeah, it was like kind of game show, kind of like sketch comedy.
Double Dare was that another one? He had two
Yeah.
families or two
Yeah.
teams or something,
Yeah.
and then they just did like all kinds of wacky challenges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay. I don't remember. I don't think I ever watched that one.
Yeah.
But I've heard.
I watched
plenty
it.
about
Yeah, I've watched it a few times.
What's the premise of that one?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
What does it sound like? I told you it sounds like a tabletop game.
Okay, so according to Wiki, it's an action adventure game where you're in this like fake temple, and it's filled with like lost treasures. It's basically Indiana Jones.
It's like
for
Indiana
kids.
Jones, but
Yeah,
the game show version.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. That actually sounds pretty fun.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Do you remember in elementary school, you had to do it was like a yearly thing or a biannual.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Bi-yearly, quarterly.
It might have been quarterly actually. It was the Indiana Jones obstacle course.
Oh,
do you
yeah,
remember
in
that?
elementary school? Yeah.
And growing up, I always thought that was like a ubiquitous thing. Like everybody did that.
Yeah.
I think that was just our gym teacher really liked doing that.
I think so too.
I think he just kind of stumbled upon the prop that he used that made it the Indiana Jones thing. Because he always just said it was Indiana. It was basically just like a normal obstacle course. You got like things you got to go over and you got to go under these things. And then there's like a tube you crawl through.
Wasn't it part of the fitness test we always had to do? That was like the fun. That was like
the fun part. I think because
like he always did that at the end.
Yeah,
to like
that was
reward
kinda
us or whatever. Yeah,
the motivation.
God,
to
I
just do
forgot
that.
about all that.
Yeah, the main thing that made it Indiana Jonesy was that I don't know where he would have got these. They seemed kind of weird. They were like poles, maybe 5 foot long or 6 foot long, with like beads in them.
Yeah.
So they would make like a rattling noise if they fell. And that was, that was the thing you had to duck under or go over. And if you knocked it down, you lost points or whatever. Yeah, and it was like, and then he said those are the snakes. That was his like, quote unquote, these are snakes. See, they rattle. And Indiana Jones famously hates snakes. So Indiana Jones obstacle course, here you are. And we had like the rope hanging from the ceiling. Yep. So that was always, I think that's usually how we started. You would swing from the rope across like a thing. But I just thought that was so fun.
Speaking of rope, were you also like
Speaking of rope?
Were you like me when we had to do the part where the rope was hanging from the ceiling? You had to climb.
Oh, you had to climb
up
the
flag or whatever.
Yeah, that was also part of that fitness test, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you also, like me, not be able to like even get a foot off the ground?
The first several years, no. I think eventually I could do it in like 5th grade. I had like a growth spurt or something and finally was able to do it. But
I had all the growth spurts and I still couldn't do it.
Yeah, that whole thing is a joke. Whole fitness test. It's so embarrassing.
Nothing is quite as humbling as that, as not being able to climb a rope.
What about pull-ups? Did you get the pull-ups in?
I think I got like 2.
Yeah, eventually I could do like 5 or something.
Yeah.
It was pretty dismal. But like the goal always increased every year. It's like every year it's like, well, now you got to do 4. Well, now you got to do 6.
The thing with that stuff is like they never actually taught you how to do it properly. So you're just like up there like
just pull up.
I'm just hanging there from a rope and I'm like I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking my body's just supposed to just magically start hovering or like levitating up. I don't know how to use my whole body to climb a fucking rope.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's not climbing a ladder. Like where you just like step, step, step. No, you gotta like grab with both hands, and then like you gotta like pinch your feet down at the bottom to hoist yourself further.
Yeah,
and then grab again. Like you can't just do that.
Totally fucking safe.
Yeah. Oh, you're all right. This wrestling mat will break your fall when you fall 15 feet in the air.
Here you go, 4th grader. Climb the fucking rope 25 feet in the air. And if you fall, well, here's a 1/2-inch thick foam pad that maybe will not paralyze you.
That the school bought in 1979. Yeah.
I promise you I'm not going to scale the fucking Grand Canyon anytime soon. I have no use for this rope in my life.
Yeah, maybe when I, join the military, maybe then I can climb some ropes.
But I bet they'll teach me how to fucking do it.
They probably would. Or at least, like, somebody next to you knows how to, instead of just being a bunch of 4th graders who don't know how to climb rope. And they're your only help.
My favorite part of that gym class in elementary school was playing floor hockey. Oh,
ooh, yeah, floor hockey was fun.
I got put in the penalty box because I like did a slap shot.
I thought you were going to say you like glass somebody, or what do you call that when you smash them up against check them? Check them. Glass is like something violent.
I went
a little more violent.
I went to take a shot and I went full fucking NHL. Stick all the way up in the air and like knuckle puck shit. And yeah, I got a high stick penalty and had to sit the rest of the game.
That's fun. Rest of the game didn't even have a time limit on it.
Well, it was like 4 minutes left in the game.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Go big or go home, I guess.
Power play.
This is for making me climb that stupid fucking rope.
Knuckle puck. You didn't even have a puck in floor hockey, did you? Isn't that a ball? Can you play with a ball on floor? Oh, that might be field hockey that I'm thinking of.
You are thinking of field hockey.
Is it just a stick? There's not a specialty term for a hockey stick? Yeah. It's just a hockey stick, right? I don't know why it was like a club, but that's not a club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're Happy Gilmore, then you get a putter that looks like a hockey stick.
So my last honorable mention.
Yeah.
We all know this. It's a game that holds true.
Yeah. Dear to our hearts.
Dear to our heart. But I understand why it got canceled. And that's spelled WHEW ! But it's called.
We pronounce it.
And
unless you're doing like a promo on Buzzr and then you call it whew or something, it's like it's literally the guy literally just said we pronounce it whew, and then you're gonna go next up on woo. Who are you? Who's doing the voiceover here? Nobody thought to educate this man.
It was the most confusing game in the world.
It's a wild ride.
Confusing.
It took me like 4 or 5 episodes to even get a grasp of what was happening.
Didn't I get you onto that game? Because I was like, check this game out because I don't understand it. And we were both trying to figure it out together.
I think we were watching it. I think we were together when
we were
watching it.
Okay, we were at work together. And yeah.
Yeah, because I knew, because at our place of work, we both work in a retail store, but we both operate as individually. We're the only employee at the time. but I was taking over your store. You were moving to a different location. So we were both in the same store for like a week.
Correct.
On the TV, you always like to have Buzzr on, the channel Buzzr, which just shows old game shows 24/7. Yeah, I don't even know if I could briefly explain the gameplay of, like, you start with 2 people.
The first season was 2 people, and then they realized that the game was kind of stupid and the ratings sucked, and then they brought in celebrities who weren't really celebrities. They were like...
game show celebrities.
Game show celebrities, correct.
Yeah, like where the most famous person was Betty White, and Betty White wasn't really much of anything yet.
At that time, no.
You know, she wasn't the Betty White we know.
She was on Match Game a lot, but...
Yeah, she was on all the game shows. That was like one of the biggest things. She was on like Maude.
Radar.
No, she wasn't on Maude. She was on one of the other shows.
Radar from MASH was on a lot of them too.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that one? Oh God, what was that one that was basically Match Game but with celebrities?
Oh, you mean Newlywed Game?
No. Oh yeah,
you mean Newlywed Game with celebrities? Tattletales.
Tattletales.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I love that game. That's always fun. I love that one with Bert Convy. He's up there. If we ever did,
if we were the game show host,
yeah, I added that one to our list of topics, by the way, and I added your idea of forgotten game shows, which would definitely be like top of the list for me at least. So yeah, I don't know. You start out with 2 people, and like it actually was kind of interesting because the answers you had to get, it was like. It was kind of like a trivia, but it was a trivia statement almost. Yeah. And then one of the words was wrong.
Right.
Like George Washington's wife's name was Walla Walla. But it was like, well, obviously Walla Walla is not the name. It's Martha. So you would just say Martha instead. And that was the answer. So those were kind of like funny sometimes. But that was the thing. And you had to like, you would answer questions and you move up this board. But then there's like, the person you're playing against puts these like stops up there and that slows you down or blocks or whatever. And then you have to move across the board, but your goal is to get up the board. And there's this like a racing motif where there's like a car sounds and the signage all looks like road signs for some reason, but there's no other cars on the set. It's called, I don't know why we went with a racing motif.
It's definitely a game where if you get overstimulated easy, this is not the game show for you.
No, it's so stressful.
It is very stressful.
It's incredibly stressful. Oh, and the funnest part is that if you start to run out of time, because you have a limited amount of time to get off the top, but if you run out of time, you can yell, long shot, and you have to scream it. It's like on The Price is Right. That's too much, Bob. You have to yell it or Bob like berates you. It's like you lose because you weren't loud enough.
Yeah, which means then you have to guess the very top question.
Yeah,
right?
So you jump all the way up to the top, and then you have like one chance, and then your opponent can put another block up there. And if you choose the block one, you lose. And then you also have, and if you don't choose the block, then you still have to answer the question. If you don't get it, then you lose. Yeah. It's a complicated mess.
And then whoever wins the whole thing.
Then you get to a bonus round.
Then you go to this big giant fucking stage.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I swear to God, it's like 3 miles long.
The Gauntlet. And there's just 10 monster characters.
Yeah.
Made out of like, you know when people in their yards will make like plywood cutouts and they'll just paint them like a Scooby-Doo or something or like a Christmas character or whatever. That's what they look like.
It's like there's one that's like a vampire.
There's like a vampire and like
it's
a
like
werewolf
all the
and
common
and all these like random movie monsters, but they're all like cartoony. They almost, I think it was animated, or I think they were illustrated by Hanna-Barbera, I think. So think like Scooby-Doo and I don't know, what's another?
I don't know. Think of like Hong Kong Phooey, but like a werewolf.
That's a good one. Yeah, Hong Kong Phooey or Huckleberry Hound.
Yeah,
that kind of illustration anyway of all these monsters, and you have to go to each one, and each one has another one of these.
And you don't
answers.
You don't just stand in one spot. You literally
have to go through.
You have to step by step, and
everybody does it.
The host is like doing it backwards, so he's like racing backwards.
Go backwards. And everybody stands there like they're trying to like squat to take a poop.
Yeah,
like if you didn't have a toilet, they're in that position, or like they're holding like an imaginary, like an invisible jetpack, and they're about to take off. They have to stand in that position, and then they answer a question. They scream it top of their lungs
because it's so fucking stressful.
Yeah, you cannot go through it. And this one, to your point there, that it's so stressful that you have to scream. I did this. So one of our things as siblings that hate each other secretly, we like to like prank each other for Christmas. So we give each other a gift and we make it really difficult.
We've been doing it for almost 20 years, correct?
Yeah,
not quite.
Maybe not that long, but probably 15.
15-ish.
Yeah.
And it started with like me putting like
just a bunch of duct tape, like classic.
Well, it started with me putting like the oil you put on a new baseball glove.
Yeah.
Like that included in one of your gifts. It just started as
it was just like a random thing, or
and then
a bunch of trash in the box,
and then it
like,
evolved into me making Christmas cheeseburgers.
Yeah. This year, you really won Christmas this year.
Yours was good. Yours was good too.
Yeah, it's fine.
I love my shirt.
Yeah, I'm glad. That cost me a lot of stress.
I love that shirt so much because I've worn it. I think I've worn it already like 4 times.
I was so happy
but
when
I don't
came up with that one.
Yeah, I've worn it so many times. I just like to show it off. I like to show off nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So Ty got me a shirt. You made a drawing a while ago.
Yeah, I just doodled it on a sticky note.
And you sent it to me, and it was a scene from Back to the Future where he says, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads." Yep. But he made them as like toads. Mm-hmm. He made the characters toads.
Well, they're frogs. Notably, enemies of toads.
Gotcha. Okay.
I guess.
So, the Toad War of 1944.
And the classic, like, Romeo and Juliet tale of Frog and Toad.
Yeah.
Where they're actually buddies.
Anyways, so yeah, and so you made Marty and Doc into frogs, and it said toads, or where we're going, we don't need toads. And then you printed it out on a T-shirt and gave that to me for Christmas. And it's probably one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten from you. I'm not kidding. It's like I said, I've worn it like 4 times since you got it for me.
Yeah.
I think I wore it the next day just to wear it. I just wanted to put it on.
You didn't even go anywhere.
I didn't go anywhere. I just wanted to like show it off to the fucking dogs. Like, look what your uncle got me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Glad you liked it.
Yeah.
So, where the hell were we? Oh, for one
that could be an episode where we just rank our gifts for each other.
So one of my like prank things, or like the thing you had to get through to get your gift, I basically set up a game of and I had you go through the gauntlet at the end.
And I did the thing. I did the
the
jetpack thing.
And we both started screaming at each other to get the answers. Because it is so stressful, and you hear that clock ticking, you're like, "Oh my god, I gotta go."
Well, because you also put the sound effects or the timer on your phone.
I had the sounds. Yeah.
So I had the sound going too, and the sound was, man, oh man, the sound was just my palms were sweaty, opening a gift at Christmas.
Yeah. Mom's spaghetti for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that sound. That's what they do. They do that intentionally to freak you out while you're doing the games. That's like the Millionaire, the music they played during
when it gets,
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like the it's like meant to like mimic a heartbeat to stress you out more. It's a wild ride to watch that show. I have no idea what's going on. Somebody was definitely like snorting some blow.
Would highly recommend it. Even though you won't understand it. And that's okay. You don't need to understand
Somehow
it.
It was only on for like a season and a half.
Yeah.
And half of that was with celebrities.
They
had
got
to
desperate.
Redo the format.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's just put a celebrity in there. They can do it together for somehow. I don't know. Just put Betty White in there. We just need Betty White. Come on.
You don't want to watch this confusing ass game? Well, what if we did the confusing ass game but with celebrities?
Yeah, let's add the complication of now 2 people are doing it at the same time. It's like, Betty White helped password. Let's get her on here now. That'll be the saving grace. Anyway, so was your last honorable mention?
That was all. Yeah, I know. I said I'd fly through it, and we didn't. Fucking forever.
Yeah,
It's okay.
We love game shows, so I'm gonna zip through these. A lot of these you said already. You already said to tell the truth. That was a late cut for me. I almost had that one up in my nominees actually. Supermarket Sweep.
Okay.
I love that one. It's just so fun to watch.
It is fun.
It's not one that they do have like the trivia at the beginning, but it's not a very easy one to play along with. You're mostly just like commenting on how bad they're doing at the end when they're racing around. It's like, oh, come on, you got to get the turkeys. Get the freaking turkeys. There's a reason there's a limit on them. Come on.
Like, why are you getting plastic utensils right now?
Yeah, come on. Who's
lettuce?
I could do this so
You're
much
getting
better.
a head of lettuce for no reason?
Come on. Oh, man. Press your luck. Whammy.
Damn, man. Okay.
Yeah. It's a classic one. I feel like it's like iconic. I don't like the show very much. I've watched it and I'm like, this isn't as entertaining as I remember it being. And I don't know why. Is this a nominee?
It is.
Well,
the supermarket sweep is too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I had Password as a nominee, so
Okay.
we'll get there. We'll have to duke some out here. I had Blockbusters. I think I talked about this before, and you didn't know what Blockbusters was. I love Blockbusters. It's with Bill Cullen in it, who was the original host of The Price is Right. I think I explained this to you before, and you didn't know what it was. It's two teams, but one is just a single person, and the other team is two people. And the single person has a slight advantage in the questions they get, but it's kind of a trivia game, and you have to like connect. You have to get like basically 4 questions in a row, and there's like a almost like a tic-tac-toe kind of situation or a Connect 4 kind of thing. As you answer questions, you go across the board. But yeah, it's a good one. I really like watching that one a while ago. You don't see it on TV very much anymore.
I never even heard of it.
Cash Cab.
Okay, I considered that one. That was another one where it's like you watch it, it's cool, and then it's like
You watched it a couple too many times.
Yeah.
Okay, it's basically the same thing every time. But I always like that one. I pretty much any kind of trivia game I'm down with, and that was one where I think the questions were a little easier. They weren't as hard as like the Millionaire questions.
Yeah.
Like with Millionaire, I think it was 15 questions total. The first 5 were super easy. Like the middle 5 were like, yeah. But then once you get past like the $20,000 or the $10,000 question or whatever, it was like, these are impossible. I don't know how anybody knows these. Or like Jeopardy, where like you might kind of have an idea on like maybe half of them. You might have kind of an idea. You're not going to know that many probably. But
years ago, one time Jeopardy was on, and one of the categories was college football awards.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I ever felt smart watching Jeopardy, because I named them all as soon. He didn't even have to finish the question, and I was answering them. And
you always get those. There's like a certain category, like, oh, I'm gonna run this category.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah,
you get all 5.
And if of course, the contestants aren't sports smart. And
yeah, no, they don't know.
Nobody
anything about
answered
sports.
it, and I'm like,
those are always so funny. It's always they'll do that. I think they showed one on Good Morning Football a couple months ago. There was a question, and they just pulled up the clip where it's like, everybody who's watching NFL Network knows it instantly because they're all football fans, but everybody's like, and then they say something like really dumb. They're like, Peyton Manning. It's like, is that the only football player you've ever heard of? Because that's not even close. We were talking about like a safety or something. Like, why are you talking about Peyton Manning? But yeah, it's always just so funny to me.
This NFL award is named after the league's best running back,
Stanley Cup.
who is Brett Favre.
Oh man, okay. So yeah, like I mentioned, I had Tattletales. That one's always fun. It's basically the Newlywed Game, but with celebrity couples, and then the audience gets the money. That's pretty cool.
And I always love the like giant headphones they have to wear.
Yeah,
like they're huge,
just gigantic ones. Yeah. Dog Eat Dog. You remember that one?
I do remember. I forgot about that. That was a good game.
Yeah. That was another one.
We always used to watch that.
We
used to watch it at Dad's.
Yeah,
I always remember watching it with him.
Yep. I remember this one challenge. The guy had to walk. It was a guy. Well, of course, don't they pick the person who has to do the challenge? I think that's how it worked. They would the contestants would vote and they would pick somebody to do it. But this guy had to walk in like 6-inch heels across a balance beam. I always remember that one. I was just waiting for him to break an ankle. He did not last. He took like 3 steps and was like blip.
Yeah.
But anyway, hosted by the same person, The Chase. You ever watch that one?
Yep.
It was a good one with is it The Beast? Is that his name? Yeah, that was a good one. I think that was on for quite a while, longer than I thought it was.
It was always on like after Chain Reaction.
Yeah. So, I also had Double Dare and Deal or No Deal. Weakest Link. I think. Newlywed Game. Did you mention Newlywed Game?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
remember, I was talking about how dumb the husband.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, I think we got them all. So we'll come back here in a couple of seconds with the rest. What is it? The nominees. There we go. That's the one. Yeah. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
So I gotta backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I just thought of a game. You might not know. You might know what it is, but I just thought of it. Do you remember the game? It was always on ESPN called Stump the Schwab.
Yeah.
Schwabby. I can't believe I forgot about that game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
R.I.P. Schwabby. Yeah. But that game was so fun. Like it was basically, it was just.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot all about it.
What was another one? Oh, you just made me think of. Oh, you remember Win Ben Stein's Money?
It's funny you say that. Let's just get into our nominees.
Oh man, that's a long shot if I ever heard one.
I don't care.
Here we go.
I do not care. That's why I thought of Stump the Schwab. It's funny. I do have Win Ben Stein's Money as a nominee.
Ooh, what about you ever watch Greed?
Yes,
that was a good one.
That was a good one.
I remember you never see that one on TV anymore.
Right.
Anyway, we've done too many honorable mentions. Let's get into.
I do have Win Ben Stein's Money in.
Okay.
We always used to watch it with mom and our stepdad. I always just remember watching it there.
You know, I just realized
all the time.
We did this out of order again. Not again. This is the first time. Normally we do the nominees first.
Well, we're doing it. It doesn't matter.
We'll just roll into it.
It's our show. Way. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Go ahead. I just happened to think of that. Anyway, okay. Go ahead.
And then I always like the end where, they're in like these weird phone booths.
Yeah.
Like asking the questions. I have Card Sharks.
Card Sharks, that's one of mine.
I think one of my favorite parts about Card Sharks is because they had a couple hosts. What was the
first one or Bob Eubanks?
Yes, when Eubanks was hosting, because they'd ask they'd ask these trivia or these questions like basically on like how many people will do this or would agree with this, right? And the contestant would have to just give a number, and if the closest wins, right?
And they always like give a dictionary.
They give out this
answer.
So long of an answer, and Bob would get so annoyed. He's like, "Okay, what's your answer?
How many out of 100?" And he would just like ask the question 40 more times. Like,
I think that's what made the game so funny. It's like Bob, you just see the anger, just like, will you shut the fuck up and answer the question?
I'm sure they're like coached to do that because they all do that.
Probably.
They got too much coaching.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yep. We just need like a 5 seconds of an answer, not 45. Just like give like a 5 to 10 second answer.
Okay, going back into the Nickelodeon well.
Okay.
Do you remember Figure It Out?
I remember the name of it. I don't remember.
So it was the game. It was the game where either 3 or 4 like Nickelodeon celebrities.
Yeah.
And
Keenan
was one of them. I can't remember her name, but you would recognize her as soon as you saw her.
Amanda Bynes? No.
I don't think it was her. No.
She was too famous probably for the game show.
I think I don't remember her name, but I know you would recognize her as soon as you saw her. But yeah, it was basically like a game where there was like that head and you had to like figure out puzzle pieces or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then there was like secret, like the first person to say gets slimed or whatever like that. Yeah. And it was just like random stuff like that throughout the game.
Oh yeah. So the celebrities were playing the game, or were there contestants too?
I think the celebrities were playing the game, but it was like when celebrities play the game, they play for charity or whatever.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't remember ever really watching it though.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, it was timed rounds where they asked yes or no questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and once a panelist asks a question with a no answer, their turn ends and the next panelist's turn starts. It's, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, all right. So the contestant had a special talent.
Okay.
And basically it was like 20 questions. But yes or no questions only.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the panelists went one by one until they got a no. Like, I would ask you something, and if it was yes, I'd keep asking until whatever question I asked would be a no. And
that's like, what's my line?
Basically.
Except it was a talent instead of a job?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then, they added the slime to...
Yeah, it's like the Nickelodeon version of What's My Line?
Yeah. Huh. That was one of my favorite games of all time growing up. Like, I love that. I watched the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And I would watch it now. I would 100%, if it was on Netflix, binge that. Yeah. Like I do Family Guy.
I don't know if it was a reboot or what, but because I remember watching that, a version of that. I just remember this guy, he was like the world's fastest like clapper or something, and he would just like he would just like flap his hands a bunch of times and just go. It's like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. I think there was a guy that juggled and like ate an apple or something.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Of course I do. Next one I have Press Your Luck. Only because I don't disagree about the game being kind of nah.
Yeah.
But the whammy is so iconic in pop culture.
That's why I had a hard time cutting it, yeah. But...
So, like, it's an Anchorman.
Yeah.
The whammy itself is so iconic in pop culture history. That's why it's up there.
Even within the like game show lore, you had the guy that was like caught kind of cheating. He like figured out the rhythm or the pattern of the board and won a whole bunch of money, and that was like a whole big thing.
How many times are we like if you? I know I do it. Like if you're playing a board game where it has like a spinner, and you click it, and you're like, no whammies.
Yeah, it is part of the lexicon. Everybody knows whammy, even if you don't even know the game. Like, yeah.
I have Supermarket Sweep.
Okay. I like that one a lot. And then that was another one that was really hard for me to cut.
And then I have a for sure, obviously, nominee, Match Game.
Match Game. That one's a no-brainer.
Me and you love that game so much. I remember back to when we were working together that one week, we were just commenting on how much fun that show looks like to be on.
I love it.
And at the very end when Gene's signing off, they're all just like talking over each other. You can't understand a word anybody's saying.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that show so much. I remember shortly after I took over that store and I was watching Buzzr all the time. Mm-hmm. I remember having a conversation with our mom about like they should have like a local match game for a charity or something. They should have just like a local, get a bunch of local celebrities. I can MC, of course. I'll get like a giant dowel rod, paint it black, put a microphone at the end of it, and I can host and I can do my best.
You put one of those like foam balls that you'd use like when you made your like a solar system in elementary school.
But yeah, just like get like the school principal or something, or the mayor, and have them be on the dais, and then just get a couple of rando contestants up there to just be fun. And I feel like that would be awesome. And I was really hoping they would reboot it at some point, which apparently they did a couple of times.
They did, but
wasn't I can't remember her friggin' name. From she took over the new version of whose line is it anyway?
Aisha Tyler.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why that's not just always. Maybe it was just the perfect blend of personalities on there that's just awesome, and obviously Gene's the best. I don't even think we have to debate that one.
My final one, I have American Gladiators.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. Oh,
that might be
that might be in there.
That might be the GOAT.
That's a tough one to drop out. Oh.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite game in American Gladiators? Not including the gauntlet at the end.
At the end, man, that's a tough one. It's been so long since I watched it. All the images flashing through my head are from the gauntlet.
Yeah,
I always loved the tennis ball gun.
Oh my God, fantastic!
It's so great. I loved the image of it too, with all the magazine of the tennis balls, and all like in the circle
they would do
around
the
it.
Aerial shot of these tennis balls going like 4,000 miles an hour. It's like, how the hell are you supposed to dodge this thing?
Potato launcher for tennis balls, just thump. Like,
mine, I don't remember the name of the game, but mine was, you know, like halftime at the Ohio State games when they put the fans in the big bubble.
Yeah.
But this was like in like giant sheet metal balls.
Oh yeah, I do.
And you
had to like get up into like a,
or not sheet metal. It was like those jungle gym things.
Yeah, they were like wire or like steel tubes.
Yeah,
or whatever,
and you had to get up on these like platforms that pushed a steam out, and that you got points off of that.
Yeah, it was like it was a raised thing, and then it had like a kind of a divot in the middle that it would sit into, but you had to like roll it up into it and just not past it. Yeah. You had to line it up perfectly.
And then you had like three gladiators and the things just coming at you.
Yeah,
rage fueled testosterone dudes. And rage frenzy trying to kill you, like literally trying to kill you.
Oh my God. Yeah. They would go all out.
Nothing is better than kicking on the TV and you just see laser and blazer and razor and taser all like coming out like
Gemini. I remember Gemini. Laser and blazer, I think, are from Dodgeball.
they were 100% from Dodgeball. I just wanted to rhyme with that. But
taser.
But the only knock on it is it wasn't very
inclusive.
It wasn't very inclusive. It was a lot of white meat going on in that show.
Yeah, except for Gemini.
Yeah.
He was the token black gladiator for sure.
Yeah. It was between that or the one where they swing on the Olympic rings.
Oh, yeah, that one's a cool one.
I love that.
They had to get like all the way across, right?
Yeah, and the gladiators coming from the other side.
Yeah, and they would do like the chicken thing where you grab them with your legs and everything. Oh, man, that was a fun one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like the games you would like make up on the playground.
100%.
But you're just doing it against a gigantic 280-pound freak of muscle. Oh, man, I forgot about that one. Man, oh, so that was your last one?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, not too many in common. I'm surprised. Well, see, this one might be a point of contention, so we'll get there. But I do have a justification for it. So, my first one, match game, obviously. Honorable mention for you, Password. So bright. Yeah.
So much neon.
It's Password. It's Super Password.
You imagine how hot that studio was with all that neon?
I know.
My God.
Oh, man. And then everybody's wearing suits. No wonder Burt Comedy. Comedy. Yeah, Burt Convey always had like a sport coat with his sleeves rolled up because he was, he had watched too many episodes of Miami Vice, apparently. That was like a whole thing. I remember because that was one of the ones that was on every day on Buzzr. And so they would go sequentially. And I actually got to watch the daily episodic situation where he was like, he would comment about his sleeves. And he's like, I've gotten some letters where people don't like the sleeves. Like, do we like them up, down? And he had worn them down that day. He's like, I don't know. Do we like them up? And like the crowd would cheer because they wanted them up. He's like, maybe I'll push them up. And they push them up and then they cheer. And then he's like, I got some more letters that people don't like it. I'm like, what? So there was like a 5-episode stretch where he's talking about his sleeves at the beginning of the episode every time. It's so funny. Okay, next one. I got What's My Line? We talked about it a little bit earlier. Pyramid, all the iterations, all the numbers, 10,000, 15, 25. There was $1 million. Remember Donny Osmond?
I do.
That's the one we always watched at Grandma's house. Donny Osmond.
She made our...
Is the $1 million pyramid.
She made our, 3/4 pound hamburgers. Oh my God. I miss that so much. You have no idea. Yes.
So heavy.
Grandma's hamburgers.
Just on a slice of bread.
We should have started a restaurant, just called it Grandma's Hamburgers.
Grandma's Hamburgers. And they just like so big that you could like knock somebody out with them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They'd take up like an entire frying pan.
So good.
Solid. So good.
I remember she made me one, like the one year I played Little League football.
Yeah.
She would always make one before practice, like literally right before practice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
got to get that protein in you.
Yeah, man. Half the time it was like, I was fine. Half the time I was like,
oh,
I wish I wouldn't have eaten that this quick, this soon before
maybe
before a 2-hour like practice.
Yeah, maybe cut that down to a half pounder next time, Grandma.
But you can't say no to Grandma. Like,
no, you can't.
She's gonna make what she wants. Like what? Well, she's gonna make what
you're a growing boy.
Yeah, she's gonna make what we want. But I don't have the heart to tell her that's a little much.
Yeah.
Thinking back, no, that was not enough.
Oh yeah.
I wish she would have made like a full pound.
Give me a double.
She should have just taken the tube. The meat comes in and just grilled that, and just put it on a sub.
Well, you just take the loaf of bread. And you just like start laying out bread. Like, when people have like a big thing and they just start throwing cheese slices on it. That's what you just do with the bread slices. Just bread slices, lay the log of meat on top, another couple of bread slices on top. Yeah. Just keep going like that. And then I had Card Sharks. That was a nominee for you too?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then last one for me, Hollywood Squares.
That's still on though. I thought about that.
That was the thing. That was the one I said I had kind of a maybe. They just rebooted it. It actually debuts tonight, which is weird.
Nate Burleson.
Yeah. But it was off for so many years. And I didn't realize that it was coming back until like now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should we do you not want to count that one?
I didn't because of that reason. That's a gray area.
Yeah, it's a gray area because like with Let's Make a Deal, the reboot has been on
All right.
for like 20 years.
How about this? See if you're on board with this. Since it's just debuting tonight,
Yeah.
we're recording before it actually debuts. So we'll count it.
Actually, it started 48 minutes ago.
Well, we started recording before that show started, so,
So
shut
it
up.
counts?
Yes.
We got it just under the wire.
Yeah. So
It was off the air as I wrote this. Let's say that.
we will include it because
Okay, cool.
Tom Bergeron, legend.
Legend.
He was so good in that show.
Yeah. I mean, even the original was so funny. And that was another one with,
Yeah.
it's just all these old people. Like half of them I don't even know. Never even heard the names.
You know,
And then like the other half, I only know them from game shows.
You know what's funny? Going through my list, when I was putting my list together today, each game I could pick out where specifically I would only watch that game.
Yeah. There was always, yeah.
American Gladiators was always at Grandma and Grandpa on our dad's side.
Yep.
Same with Match Game.
Yeah. Match Game was always at Grandpa's
Win
house,
Ben
yeah.
Stein's Money was always with Mom.
Mom. Yep. Because that was a primetime show.
Deal or No Deal 2.
Primetime. Yep.
I'm thinking, what was the other one I was thinking of? Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It was always with Dad. Hollywood Squares was always with Dad.
Yep. Well, I think that was on Friday night.
Yeah.
The new one.
It's
The
weird.
new one from 20 years ago.
Well, any of these games I never watched with both. I always watched specifically
Yeah,
one
it was always
place.
specific ones. Yeah, and then we talked about the $1 Million Pyramid. That was always at Grandma's house.
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of these were at our grandma, grandpa, dad's side, grandma, grandpa, because they had direct. They were like the first one in our family to have direct TV, so
Right.
they had Game Show Network.
Right.
So that's where we first got introduced to a lot of the old ones.
Yeah, during the summer when we'd be there all day, I would go between watching Game Show Network and the Bill Cosby Show all day,
Yeah.
just all day.
Yeah, Bill Cosby Show.
And then Grandma would make our mac and cheese with hot dogs in it or whatever,
Yeah,
and then I'd go back to watching
Like a
the
side
Cosby
of-
Show.
side of like chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
and SpaghettiOs. Those
Man.
SpaghettiOs were common.
our grandmas really took care of us.
God, they were just so great.
Mm.
Anywho,
Well, yeah,
Hollywood Squares. So we are, yeah. So yeah, I don't know where I was going to go with that one.
I don't
but
either.
I guess, do we want to debate? This kind of throws it off. Normally we take a break, but do you want to just start debating?
let's just get into it.
Actually, real quick, we're going to pause for half a second because I have to write down your nominees so I know what you said.
Okay.
Just a second or two here. So we got our first no doubter. We're both agreement on Match Game.
Match Game.
I looked up the TV Guide's top, I think it was like 60 or something game shows ever, and that was the first one I came across that was not currently running. It might have been the only one in the top like 6.
Match Game was pretty consistently up at the top.
You know what's funny? For people that don't know game shows, I feel like they don't really know Match Game.
Right.
But everybody that does know game shows, it's like top of the list.
It's the
It's
first one you
weird.
think of.
It's
Yeah.
I guess because it was so old, it was only really in the 70s,
Yeah.
and then they kind of tried to reboot it a couple times, and it was not good.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of made
We're
a name.
known specifically for that.
Kind of made a name for themselves in that show. Like Dawson was the big one that got his own game show after that.
Yeah, Richard Dawson was. Yeah, he was like a side character in a sitcom. Is Hogan's Heroes a sitcom? Do you consider? I think it was a comedy.
Yeah.
Sitcom. Yeah, so he was like a tertiary character on a sitcom, and then he gets on Match Game, and then he ends up becoming the most famous one out of the whole group. He gets his own show, and then he gets to play like an evil psychotic version of himself in Running Man.
Yeah. He's so good in that.
I don't know that they could have picked a better person.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. They struck while the iron was hot on that one.
Absolutely, yeah. Any other sure things?
I'm putting American Gladiator sure thing.
Okay. It's definitely up there for me. The sticking point for me is that it's not like a traditional game show. Like it just feels a little different.
But it's still a game show.
But it is, I guess it is a game show. It's just weird, and I think that's why it's just like throwing me off.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that one because at this point I'm in agreement. I think it is such an iconic thing. People know that even without even knowing it. Like people just know what American Gladiators is. Any other sure things?
My last sure thing would be Card Sharks.
I feel like a lot of people know that one too. That was a comment that had a lot of run
Yeah.
on the Game Show Network. It's always on Buzzr.
Just oversized blackjack. I think.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's just higher or lower.
Yeah. Well, just a simplified version of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you play?
I mean, you don't really go to you're not really trying to get 21. It's just higher or lower. But for some reason, it was cards.
Even in the final round. I thought there was some
final
sort
round.
of,
I think it's still just higher or lower.
Okay, but still,
you have to get through like 8 of them instead of 4 or something. It was kind of weird that they used cards for that because it didn't really have anything to do with cards. It was just here's a number.
It was a catchy name.
Yeah, it was like let's just go with Card Sharks. Everybody knows what that is. That's probably a good one to throw up there. The other one I'd say, if we're counting it, I'd say Hollywood Squares is probably
I was
going to
say that too. I'm just going to eliminate Ben Stein's Money.
Oh, you're eliminating it.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, if we were doing like a top 10, sure, I'd have a stronger argument.
Yeah.
But top 5, no, there's no way.
Yeah, I think that one's, and honestly, I know you like it. I feel like that's kind of the same with Figure It Out. I don't remember that game really.
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember. I also might be remembering like a different version of it. So that one's also a little tougher for me to throw in there. We'll mark that as a follow-up.
Okay.
I think Password is a sure thing, or at least close to a sure thing, because it had all 3 of those versions. If you lump them all together, if we're just talking like the original iteration of Password, no way. I think that's another one that everybody knows. The password is
that's true.
butter.
That's true.
And it's Betty White's husband. Come on. They met on Password. Did you know that?
I did not.
Betty White and Alan Wood. Okay.
I'm gonna put a follow up on Press Your Luck.
Okay. It's super iconic. That's another one. I feel like everybody knows Whammy. They might not even know that the game is called Press Your Luck.
But that's...
You also had the reboot that was just called Whammy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of got introduced to it then, and then they found out, oh, this is actually like a remake
I just think
of an old show.
the pop culture significance is too
everybody knows
high
Whammy.
to not consider it.
Yeah. I think you're right. The game itself is like, I don't think it's particularly great. It's probably fun to play. But it's just the part for me is that it's not very fun for the audience all that much. It actually is for some people.
Yeah.
Not for me, though, because I can't play along with it. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
At least the spinny part with the lights.
You have no control when you're watching the game.
Yeah.
It's just
if
it's literally just a game about pressing your luck.
Like a trivia game, you can answer the questions. If it's like Password, then you're like kind of critiquing their strategy or whatever. Like, oh, I could have come up with a better word or something like that.
Yeah.
Match game, you're just like laughing at it the whole time because it's basically just a comedy. Or like, oh, obviously this is the answer for that one. Or, oh, that's a stupid answer. Family Feud, same thing. With that one, it's just hard. Supermarket Sweep, kind of a similar deal. That one's just more fun to watch. Where the second part where they're just doing the shopping spree at the end. But it's hard. But you can kind of critique their strategy, though. Yeah. So I think that's what most people end up doing is like, oh, man, come on, you're going down the wrong aisle. Mm-hmm. You just passed the thing that's extra bonus points or whatever.
Yeah.
So
or like before the final round when they're doing like the kind of like the trivia where you have to like guess the whatever.
Yeah, like whatever product
and then you have to
prices or something.
You guess it. Or they give you a hint and you have to like race to go find that specific thing.
I always liked that one. I always thought that was cool. I'm going to mark that as a follow-up. Any like sleeper picks? For me, it's probably What's My Line.
I was going to say What's My Line, but
just because
I don't think it's...
Again, like if you were ranking game shows starting in like if we were doing this podcast, it'd be like a radio broadcast, I guess, at that point. In 1975 or something. That would have been like 2. It would have been Match Game because we're sitting on the set of Match Game right now because that was the best game show ever. And What's My Line? Like that would have been on the top of everybody's mind at that point. It's lost so much popularity since then. Yeah. But I feel like there's also been like other iterations of that. I feel like To Tell the Truth is kind of like that too. It's kind of like a ripoff almost of What's My Line, except it's people lying to you instead of trying to guess their job or whatever.
You have to guess if you have to figure out if they're actually like lying.
Yeah, or like Figure It Out, we said was sort of a ripoff of the concept, at least, of that one. It's just one that you don't see on TV all that much because it's black and white. It's a little more boring. You don't know a lot of the celebrities because they're so old. But I think as like a foundational kind of legacy game show, I think that's a good one. But the popularity has waned quite a bit since then. So it's a tough one. It's like when you have like a Hall of Fame and you have the guy that's like, this guy definitely wasn't good enough to be a first ballot or like even like the 10th year of eligibility, but like 40 years down the road, people realize, hey, okay, it's been about time. We probably ought to get this guy in there. Or like a legacy Oscar.
Kind of like
This is definitely this guy's like 10th best performance, but we're going to give him the Oscar anyway.
it's like the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah. What was that, Pacino? I think that was a famous one. Pacino and his Scent of a Woman. He got an Oscar for that, even though that's like not like a tremendous performance.
Well, like, what's the Leonardo movie? The Revenant?
Revenant, yeah.
I mean, it's a fine movie, but like, does anybody... Is it
I
really
don't know that
memorable?
people... It's memorable because he won the Oscar for
Right.
it. Like, that's it. Like, that was the one he finally got it. But he definitely should have won it for, I don't know, a handful of other ones. Anyway, how do you feel about Pyramid? I think it's about the only one we haven't talked about yet. That one, it was just on for so many... It had so many different iterations.
Yeah. I'll put it as a probably. I think...
It's a solid one. I feel like it's one, I feel like once we start comparing it to some of the others, it's going to get knocked down a little bit, but it's a good game. And that's another one that's referenced a lot, I feel like. Like don't they do that in Family Guy a couple times?
Yeah.
Aren't they on
They do
Pyramid?
the Big Clark version.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But like everybody kind of knows, at least like the hot seat or whatever they call it at the end where you...
that game was always on.
The winner's circle, that's what it was.
While Grandma
Winner's
was
Circle.
making our crazy hamburgers, that game was always on.
$1 Million Pyramid,
At that time, yeah.
That's crazy that they'd give away $1 million for that game.
That's
especially
hard.
especially in like 2004
It's
or
hard to
something,
make it
whenever
to
that
the
game.
top, though.
Yeah, that is tough. The time limit was pretty restrictive. Anyway, yeah, so that's probably a probably. That's good. Good language there. Good English skills there, bud.
I just think with American Gladiators, take all the like controversy out of like take all that out and just game show entertainment only.
Do you consider Survivor a game show?
Yes.
It wasn't anywhere on your list.
It's still on.
Yes, it is. Never mind. What about? Yeah, I forgot about that stipulation because I don't consider that a game show. I consider a competition show, which I feel like is different. It definitely is a game and it's a show. I just, in my brain, in my mind, in my heart, I distinguish them like Great British, whatever that means. The Great British. I said it again. Great British Bake Off, or like the baking competition shows, Survivor, The Voice, all of those. Those are all also kind of games. They're similar things. Survivor more than like the singing.
Yeah, but
ones.
with like The Voice, they're not actually trying to like fuck up the other contestants and playing it. They're literally just trying to.
There's some strategy involved with some of them.
Yeah, but it's more
They play like
it's more strategy
bit.
to help themselves out instead of like trying to like.
The singing shows less so, like
Yeah.
America's Got Talent, those ones too, less so. But like the baking shows or like the decorating shows or whatever they
Right.
do, all of those I feel like are kind of similar because they do have little challenges in the middle.
Yeah.
And those are very gamey and they're competing directly with each other. I lump those in with Survivor and I consider those like competition shows in my mind. I don't think that's technically a genre. That's just what I call them in my head. Part of it is that it's like it's over a season too, but
See, here's the
game
thing.
shows it's usually just like one or you have like one person that kind of continues on until they get beaten and then they're done.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter because it's still on.
It doesn't matter. But the reason I was thinking of that was because of American Gladiators, because in my head I kind of associate with them with that one, but then it doesn't fit any of the criteria I just said, other than the fact that it's more like it's more of a physical competition. But I guess it is the same. For some reason in my head, it just seems it seems more like a sport than a game show.
I can understand that, but like, they're still competing against one another.
Yeah,
They're still winning a prize at the end.
there's a small group, and it's like 4 people, right? Don't they start out with like 4?
Yeah, you get eliminated. It's like the final 2.
Yeah, and then it's down to 2, and then there's one winner at the end of an episode, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so that it is a game show. Like I know what it is, but
I get what
in
you're
my
saying.
heart, it's just like hard to fit. It doesn't fit in with the others.
I get what you're saying, but I just it's so iconic.
Yeah, it's definitely like in the 4 to 6 range. So to me, it's still up for debate, but I gotta see where else we go.
Well, we've been talking about. We gotta land.
We gotta start knocking some of these out.
We gotta land this plane, bud.
How do you feel about Supermarket Sweep?
Again, I think it goes down to if it was top 10.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that one's out. I'm out on Figure It Out.
You didn't even let me make my argument for it.
You're telling me to land the plane. So I'm getting the geese out of the runway.
No, that's okay. No, it's more of a nostalgia thing for me. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think
it was a nostalgia nominee for me. Top 5 of all time. No, that's fine, but it's top 5 in my heart.
Yeah. Top 5 Nickelodeon game shows. Absolutely. Are we in on Hollywood Squares? See,
I would
hold on. I might come back to that one. We might be able to just like get rid of that one because of Nate Burleson, our guy, rebooting it. Actually, I think it's more Drew Barrymore rebooting it, but he's hosting it, and I like him better. She's pretty cool too. I like pretty much all of the movies I've seen her in. Now that I think about it, doesn't really have a stinker in the bunch. Now that I'm trying to think, I was like, there's not a bad movie.
She was also Jillian in Family Guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I'm thinking, do we want to just like sneakily eliminate Hollywood Squares because of that to make this a little easier?
Yeah, let's just do that.
we'll cut Hollywood Squares.
No, you know what? No,
or we're gonna stick it in there.
I would put it in over Pyramid and Password and.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna make it easier on the rest of them because if we get that one out of the way.
All right. I guess since technically
it's some of these other ones
still on the air. Technically, yeah. Let's take it out.
I would say I was debating it because it was rebooted It's been rebooted, I think 3 or 4 times. Let's see what we end up with once we start getting our sure things in here. So you still think Card Sharks is a sure thing?
Yes.
You're in with American Gladiators. I'm in so far. Match Game, definitely.
I'm telling you, I'd put Press Your Luck in there.
I think you're right. It's just a harder one for me because I just don't like it as much. But I remember it. I remember liking it when I was a kid.
But you got to remember, we got to put specific personal feelings aside.
I only recently realized that I didn't like the game either. As an adult, later, like recently, I'm like, this game really isn't as fun as I remember it being. But it's just like it seems super fun and iconic in your brain
because of the whammy. They had this cartoon character.
I like the host. The host is fun too. He's cool. And I think that was like the only thing he ever did. Same with Supermarket Sweep. I don't think that guy's ever done anything else.
He was a good host too.
Yeah, I like him. He's fun. So not like your traditional host either.
So that's my argument for Press Your Luck. I just think I
think your
cultural
right.
significance is too high to leave it out.
Yeah. So that gives us 4.
Right.
If we count Hollywood Squares, we're done. But that excludes Password and What's My Line, which really isn't terrible. But I do want to put Password in there. But that gives us 6 if we count Hollywood Squares.
Let's take Squares out.
Take Squares out and go with Password?
It's between Squares and not Squares.
Pyramid
too.
Password. Oh, I forgot about Pyramid. Password and Pyramid.
I would put Pyramid over Password. I just think it's a funner game to watch.
You're probably right. I just love Password so much. I love Alan, my guy Alan.
He's a good host. No, don't get me wrong. Him and Bert, they was a good 1-2 punch right there. But
yeah, old Bert Convey.
But
and the Magic Toaster.
I think why I like Pyramid so much is I think they both have they're both pressure cookers.
Yeah, they're actually kind of similar games.
But Pyramid I think is a bigger pressure cooker at the end. Because you're trying to win. You're trying to win.
And those questions are different too.
Yeah, because it's
they switch it up a little bit.
It's basically Jeopardy, but you got to describe what it is without saying what it is. Like I would, if it's like a towel, it's like
you're given. You have like a category that you're trying to get them to guess, but you're giving examples to get them to guess the category.
Or like you're like speaking in terms of like if that thing was like a living being. Like a towel would be like
things an apple would say.
Yeah.
Like I sure am red today. I don't know.
Right.
That was a terrible clue.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Don't eat me. I guess. I don't know.
I'm putting Pyramid. That's my final.
Man. Password. American Gladiators over Password.
Yes. Absolutely yes.
Man, I don't know. God, that's so tough.
I would take just the Gauntlet specific over Password.
I don't know. Password, great host, great announcer guy. The guests are fun.
Okay.
It just start to finish, it's great. American Gladiators, name anything, any single person from American Gladiators. Who hosted? Who did the announcing? I know Joe Theismann, but he was only on for like the first season.
That's what made the show. You didn't need to know who hosted it because it's such a
Joe Schmo and Gemini.
You had the contestants were always like a truck driver, a former school teacher, a biology major, and a student. Or
That's
something.
every game show. They're always just regular dudes.
I know, but like
But you also have a celebrity that makes it more fun because they're funny.
It's more impressive watching a fourth grade teacher go through the gauntlet than watching a fourth grade teacher guessing,
just absolutely suck at
things a
physical
towel
activity.
would say.
That's Pyramid.
I know.
You're arguing the wrong show.
I'm making a broad argument. It would be the same argument for both shows.
I think
No.
That's tough.
No. It's not tough. You're making it tough.
It is.
You're making it tough.
When you think game show, you think a show like Password. You don't think of guys with the big giant ear Q-tip thingies smacking each other around.
When the first two
way.
games I thought of were Match Game and American Gladiators.
Well, that's you because you love American Gladiators. You got to get your personal bias out of it, right? I like both of these shows. I lean toward Password because that's an actual game show. It's like a quintessential game show, we'll say.
You'd have more of an argument with Pyramid for me than Password.
Well, Pyramid's already in, right?
No, it's a probably. We're deciding between Pyramid and Password.
No, I said Pyramid's in. Wait, what did I say? We got Card Sharks, Press Your Luck, Match Game, and then I was debating American Gladiators. I said Pyramid over American Gladiators. So that gives us 4.
I put American Gladiators in already.
Yeah, but I didn't. I mean, I did on here, but I'm changing my mind.
No.
So Match Game. Yeah, I can take it back. Match Game, Press Your Luck, Card Sharks, Pyramid, that's 4. Now we're debating Password or American Gladiators, and I think Password is just a more
No, you don't get both. You don't get both. No.
What do you mean I don't get both?
It is not better than American Gladiators.
God, I don't think it was that good of a show. Just from a production standpoint.
I think you're wrong.
I don't know. I just think Password's a more iconic game show. As a game show, it's like a quintessential game show.
Fine, there's only one way to settle this.
What, you're going to get the freaking Q-tips out?
No.
You're going to duke it out on the table?
A good old-fashioned game of rock, paper, scissors. Best of 3. Whoever wins gets their guy in.
How about a game of Password?
Shut the fuck up. Fine, let's get the giant Q-tips and we'll battle.
I always thought they should make Password into a board game. I don't think they ever have. You want it? Are we doing 1 round or best of 3 like we always used to do? And no shoot because fuck that shit. I hate when... No.
I know you hate that.
Don't say shoot.
I always clarify.
You just do rock, paper, scissors, and you're done.
I don't care either way. It doesn't bother me.
Why do you got to shoot?
It doesn't bother me either way. That's why I always clarify. But I know you don't like shoot. I wasn't going to ask.
It's a waste of time.
Ready? Best of 3.
Yeah. Should we say rock, paper, scissors?
We probably
out loud?
should, yeah.
Well, we got the smacks, the hand smacks.
All right, here we go.
First round, we both did scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Fuck. I did paper.
I did scissors.
He continued to do scissors. He got me. Rock, paper, scissors.
He called my bluff.
Down to it.
Final.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You've done nothing but scissors. What do I do now? Oh boy. Okay.
Ready?
No. I need to strategize again. What do we do? Okay. Speak to me. Speak to me, Betty White. Alan Ludden, give me your juices. Here we go. All right? Rock, paper, scissors. Fuck.
Yes!
Get the fuck out of here.
Alan,
you failed me.
American Gladiator, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
American Gladiator.
You're disqualified. You can't say the
is
title.
in.
You can't say the title. You're disqualified. Password in. Password. I can't talk either. So what do we decide? Match Game, American Gladiators for some fucking reason. Press Your Luck, Pyramid, all the iterations, and Card Sharks. and a private little separate wing over by the pickles for password. So that's it. That's our show, and we went way over time, but that's fine.
Yep.
That's typical. And that's the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as Gene Rayburn loves long, skinny microphones. And you can pay that love forward by sharing this podcast with your friends, family, game show fans. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts, so don't forget to subscribe on your platform of choice so you never miss a new episode. You can give us a rating, leave us a review. That really helps us get seen out there. The best way to spread the word is just telling somebody you know. You can like us on Facebook and follow us at CCWisepod on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Twitter. You can follow me on just about everything at Tyler_W. Where can everybody out there find you, sir?
I am on Twitter at BWise23. I'm on Instagram at NotTheFakeBW. And then I'm also on TikTok at NotTheFakeBrandonWise. So a couple weeks we'll have a new episode for you, so join us then.
And have your pets spayed or neutered. And stay Brolton. Does Mark Spitz believe that swimming in the nude helps you go faster? Well, it's easier to steer. So good. Okay.